We made it to the other Cardealpage lot to come look at a WiLL that was purchased a couple months ago. Oh, wow. Finally get to see it in person. The keys are not in it. That's okay. Rodrigo went to go get them. What do you think? What are your first impressions? Compared to the one you just saw at the auction.
Way cleaner.
Yeah, way cleaner. But can we rock out two WiLLs is the question. Imagine us pulling up somewhere like a meet, two WiLLs deep. I need tri-spokes on this.
I think I have bad news for you.
What? Shit. Someone? Right, so we're in the WiLL. The battery was pretty dead, but now we luckily are able to somewhat move it around. So we're gonna do a quick drive with it just around here to post up for a video, because I want to make a video for you guys so you can kind of really see what the heck a WiLL is all about. So let me give you the gist of what this awesome car really is. I love this shifter right here. Let's park it there. Let's leave it there. For starters, this was a grade 4 CB. This is a year 2000, which is the month of 5, which is May. So it'll be import legal very, very soon. But let's just start with a whole walk around and we'll go from there. All right, so there you have it. What some people would call a super ugly car. And I would somewhat agree with them, but it's a very quirky, awesome looking car. Maybe ugly on the outside, but in the inside, it's still Toyota, which is the awesome thing about it. So it has the reliability of a Toyota, the quirkiness of like a vintage looking car, I guess you can say. But just like the back, how it does this, it's pretty amazing. So the lines are pretty intricate, and the nice thing is that it's stock. There's nothing that's been crazy. We've seen a couple go up. They do have ones that have the rag top, I guess you could say, or the soft top roof that goes from their back. It's kind of like a POW, but this really reminds me almost, I guess you could say, a modern day POW or Figaro, just because of the shapes, the lines, and just the quirkiness of it. It is called WiLL, so it's a Toyota WiLL. But let me show you underneath the engine bay so you kind of get an idea of why I call it like a touch of modern with vintage. Pop the hood, and underneath the hood you'll see that it's packing a 1.3 Toyota VVTi. So this is one that you would find in like a Urus or your modern day Toyotas, which is really cool. So it's really nice. Rodrigo's gonna prop it up there for us so you can kind of get an idea. So nice thing about this is it does have the reliability of Toyota, which is nice, which I really love. And I keep saying that and repeating that, but it's really, really, truly something that's real and true, which is awesome about it. Now, by no means is it perfect, but for being a car that's pretty much 25 years old already, it's in pretty great shape. You have the original spare tire and all the tools for the spare tire under here. You can tell there's not a lick of rust under here. And the trunk is funky. I wish the seats would fold forward, but they don't, which is the interesting part about this car. But it's just so funky how it does this like weird line down below and it scoops down like that. Now, I will tell you that it's really meant more, if you're 6 feet tall like myself, it's really meant more for 2.5 passengers, maybe 3 passengers. Because the back seat, when you put your seat all the way back, because of how the back is, there's not very much room. So you're not going to be able to fit here if I'm sitting back here. I mean, can I get in the front seat and pull it forward and drive a little bit closer? Sure. So let's show you the imperfections first before I keep going with everything else. Let's just start going around, see if we can nitpick any imperfections on it. This side, for the most part, is fine. There's this, but I think that'll buff out. It doesn't, you can't really feel it with your nail, except maybe one of them. So I think most of that'll buff out. Has the original antenna, which is nice. The cowl is color matched to the hood and the fender and the entirety of the car. It's just been sitting here because it's literally been sitting in storage. The door, this is where you can kind of tell there's a little bit of imperfections, where a little bit of sun fade. There is some clear coat peeling here, which isn't the end of the world. To find a WiLL in really good condition, this is probably the closest one that you'll find. A lot of them come up in auction, but not a ton of them come up this clean. Let's see if there's any other imperfections that I can see or show you. It does have, when you're backing up, it does have it. A little bit of clear coat right there, oxidation, but I think that'll buff out. There's some scratches, dings all around. By no means Is it perfect? But this is probably the closest thing to perfect that you'll find when it comes to these wheels. Often I see we're bidding on one today that has like all this clear coat is faded and peeling. This will probably buff out. Let's see anything else that I can inform. These are like the PPE that Toyota gives you, or PPF I mean. And so these usually go bad, but for the most part it's still in good shape. You can start to tell that it's slowly getting there, but there's no rust or rot anywhere that would concern me. It's also interesting how they put this panel together. It's literally screwed on here, but then it's riveted on there. So I wonder how that would work. This is really cool, the attention. We will be together, will be I. Doors are pretty cool the way that they're shaped. The interior, I'll go over that in a minute. Imperfections on the doors, like any other 25-year-old car. The door gets open, there's little chips there. Door frames are in pretty great condition. Nothing clogging, nothing rusting. Again, just the imperfections up here where the sun really beats up the cars here in Japan. The trim is just dirty from sitting overall. And then the biggest one is this. I'm not sure, it might have been that at some point somebody opened a door into it and kind of dented it. The wheels are not anything to write home about. They're just steelies with hubcaps. I think in a perfect world I'll find some wheels that I can put on this that'll make it look better. And then it's just like this little bit looks like it's coming off, so it's nothing crazy. Again, parking parameters. Well, let's go on the inside. The inside's really what sets this car, I think, apart from a lot of the other cars. It reminds me of the Naked or of any other car like the PAL that has the actual metal doors. This is where they put their service stickers, so it left residue. So this is color matched door, so it's made out of metal. I love almost like the basketball looking interior. It does look like it's a little faded here, but I think with dressing that and cleaning this up, it'll look good. It definitely needs a taggy touch, that's for sure. This is how you turn those parking sensors on. So it's got that, and it has this matching trim here. So this is more of the basketball leather, and then this is more of like the regular leather. It's not actual leather, it's just plastic, but it's made to look that way. I love that you have a pocket here for, you know, whatever you may need. And then obviously this is what makes the back go forward and back. But I love the attention to detail that they match this with the shifter. Now the seats themselves, it's almost like a couch that you're sitting in here. So if you've been in a Honda SMX, you can kind of get an idea about it. It's very similar to that. I'm 6 feet tall and I'm very perfectly well spaced here. I will say if this seat is forward, I did smack my knee on this. So in my opinion, that's a little bit of a flaw design. Windshield, you have plenty of visibility. The pillar's a little bit of a dead spot. If you close this door, the mirror is very simple. You adjust it by hand. There's no adjustments made with, like, you know, your standard controls. It does have air conditioning. Let's see if we can turn it on and actually turn AC on. And let's see if it starts to cool down. Oh wow, it's on heat. So we'll turn that down. It's got, this is the best part about this car. It's only got original 53,759,000 kilometers. So I'll put that in the video when I'm editing the video. But just the steering wheel, I love this design with the 3. Nice simple horn. The whole thing is a horn. It's also an airbag. It is wrapped in leather, which is really nice. And then you have your standard controls like your blinkers, your headlights, your wipers. And then you also have what matches this handle here, this shifter. But what's really cool about the shifter, when it's perfectly placed, you see that they did a cutout, an indentation, so when it's in park, it's there. You have the Prindle gauges there, so it tells you when it's on and off, or what gears it's on. Now, I think the flaw design on this car, for sure, to some extent, is that you don't have a physical glove box that you can open and close. It's just this little stash pocket that you have here, which also kind of, I think, equates to a cup holder, and then you have this down here. So really, there's not really cup holders. Oh, I lied, there are. So that's just a stash tray. You do have a cup holder right here on this driver's side, and then you do have a cup holder here on this passenger side. Again, matching the nice accent pieces. Same thing with the headrest. And this just, it's like almost like a Chanel-like fabric. It does come with a double-din original Toyota radio, but it's in Japanese, so it's obviously in Japanese standards. I think they do sell a converter, or you can get like a, what's it called, a FM transmitter, even though I don't know where the there's a cigarette outlet. You can't really see it, but it's under there. So you could put an FM transmitter here. Very simple design here where you can go through like the odometer and the trip and see how many miles were put on it. The clock, it does need gas. Fear not, hopefully won't be running it for that much longer. It has a place for the flare like they normally do in these JDM cars. The roof is actually quite nice and very clean. There are a couple spots where you can tell maybe somebody had dirty hands or something, or dirty paws, and put it up there. What's nice is it does have a tiny little mirror there, which is really cool. Needs to get cleaned as well. Let's see, does the passenger have one? Yes, the passenger does have one. It's kind of hard to find some cars here in Japan that the passenger actually has it. Again, it was a grade 4 CB, which is, in my opinion, for this year, it was the highest you can get. It looks like that fender might have been replaced, a couple dents here and there, but you can see it firsthand that, you know, it is what it is. This is a front wheel drive vehicle. I'll have to see what Rodrigo says the translations for that are. I do like that the doors have these little pockets here, and this isn't super stretched out, so it wasn't used much. So now if I had a passenger back there and I needed to pull my seat forward, I guess, to where I'm still comfortable, if I needed to for, you know, periods of time, this is where I probably would put it. It kind of reminds me of almost a Volkswagen Beetle with the style. But let's go to the back. Before we go to the back, let me show you the front. 6 feet tall. This is the most comfortable driving position here. My head is kind of still far. I still have room for error. So even if I pull forward, if I go to the side, if I go to the back, I still have room here. Leg wise, I think it's perfectly fine. This is a nice resting area for this foot. It is an automatic, and it does look like it is a 4-speed automatic because we have, put the parking brake on, we have drive, 2, L, and then there is obviously the overdrive for number 4. So that's a really nice thing. Let's see, even the key has on it, it says WiLL be together. That's actually really cool. So I have to see if they have the original key for it with the clicker on it. It may not, but maybe I'll try and look for it. So yeah, so that aspect, if we pull the seat forward to where it's still comfortable for me to be able to drive, and we go to the very back, we'll see if it's possible for a 6 foot tall person to go to the back, and I'll give you first hand on that. So it is very tight back here, but doors, you do have speakers on the doors here. It is tight. It is very tight. There's also speakers on that door. It's very tight back here. As you can tell, it's not really meant to be, I think, a 4-seater, unless for purposes of Japanese spec'd out, yes, it's meant to be a 4-seater because Japanese people are usually smaller, so they don't need to go as further back as us Americans do, who are taller, maybe a little stockier like myself. So there is room for Japanese people to pull forward. If I needed to ride back here, it's not terrible, but you can kind of start to see where the roof starts to scoop back. The seat in the back isn't fully like up on your back, and so it's still comfortable. Like I wouldn't mind it. Like for long periods of time, I think I would probably get annoyed because this knee's here. This knee has more room here, but then I could switch over to that side or with the passenger, or again, someone smaller would have to maybe drive. But you could also pull up on this handle here, and maybe that person could be a little bit more kind. That gives you a little bit more room. But for a 6 foot tall person, the back isn't the best. It's weird how it has this little bump out that's almost meant to be like an armrest, but it really isn't because you have the handle, the door handle there. What's interesting is, very Japanese style, is you do have the driver's door that has power windows and power lock. Same thing with the passenger door, power windows, power lock. But when you get to the back, where they save money, Toyota decided to do roll-up windows. And so the roll-up windows actually do go all the way down, and they're actually somewhat decent for what they are. So you can put this all the way down, and yeah, you got some room there to spare. So overall, the back, again, not really meant for big people. Could you fit a car seat back here, like a kid's car seat? I wouldn't be able to put my kids back here in a car seat, maybe on a booster, but that's about it. Because the car seat would push you forward, and then there's really no room for leg room. But I think this car would be perfect for like car meets, or people, or like people that just don't have a big family. It's just maybe they have 2 people, or maybe a dog in the back, or a cat, whatever, a pig, a chicken. I mean, the sky's the limits nowadays. The door is somewhat decently shaped. I love that the door has this like weird area back here that covers up the entirety of the car. Let's see if we get out of the car. Again, pretty tight back here. There's a ton of leg room down here, and it's almost like a full pass through there. The carpet matches, which is really nice. We'll pop the trunk here. The trunk actually has a ton of space, as I showed you before, but the trunk pop is right here on the front. We pop this open and you get to the big trunk, so you can fit a lot of things back here. Again, it's, you know, the scooping down that obviously kind of not gets in your way, but definitely you have to think about that certain things. It's kind of interesting where they save money with this carpet too, because this is the original, the way they cut it, because it matches perfectly, but it doesn't go all the way to back here. But maybe not, maybe this wasn't the original, but it looks like it looks like it's only meant to go to like here, and it's meant to leave this exposed. Area is probably where the shock towers are. Overall cool. It is on a gas strut, and the gas strut does hold it up pretty well. Passenger side of the rear, same thing, speaker, kind of a armrest. I think my biggest complaint for this car in the front, you do have a pocket on this side, which is really cool, but my biggest complaint about here in the front is the fact that this car does not have an armrest, and I don't know why it doesn't have an armrest. I think you could probably fit another person here, like a tiny human or something, but there is no seatbelt, so it's only meant for 4. Maybe it's meant to be like a fully reclined seat and make it almost into a bed, if that makes sense. But fully reclined, your head's kind of over here, so I guess for long periods of trips or time this wouldn't be bad. But I mean, again, I think for the intended purposes, this probably was made to be for a single person or like a couple who don't have kids and need a car to get around that's got the power of a full-size car, not a K vehicle, and they still want the reliability of a Toyota that also packs a punch with anything that you have to throw it its way. By the way, the AC cools down very nicely. I mean, overall, I would love a WiLL. I would love to bring this home. This one is available. I'll put the price on the screen. Overall, probably the cleanest one you could find. I'm sure there's probably another couple cleaner ones that won't have the dent or the sun fade on the doors or the clear coat, but overall, like it says on the auction sheet, it's a 4, grade 4. This PPF here is cracking like they normally do, so can it be taken off and a new one put on? Yes. Tires are in pretty good shape. They are good years, and let's see, they are from 2018, so again, I'm going to try and find wheels. So ultimately, whoever gets this car before it leaves Japan, I'll help you source the wheel and put wheels on there. Obviously, it'll be on your dime, or it'll add cost to the vehicle. That's funny, the exhaust has the cutout, but there's nothing where the exhaust is so far back. But let's show you the underside real quick so you get an idea of the underside. How rust-free it is. This is a passenger side rear, passenger side front. Now to the very front. See? That's the driver's side rear. And now the rear of the car. Another one. Overall, clean shape. Let me get some photos taken, put on my Instagram. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. My phone number is 203-940-1259. I'm currently in Japan with the car. Whew, I'm out of breath. So this is your chance to ask all the questions that you need asked. But overall, love the car. Love the look of the vehicle. It's such a cool vehicle. Do not let this one go. They are kind of on the rarity because not very many of them were made, and you can tell why not very many of them were made, because the functionality purposes wasn't really there, so people probably didn't want a ton of these, and so they didn't probably sell a ton of them, and that's why they stopped productions. One cool thing is seatbelts do go up and down, which is actually really cool on both sides. The rears are the fixed ones. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Shoot me a message. Tell me what you think. Would you want to buy a WiLL? Would you rather hardtop or the ragtop? I was going to end the video, but let me show you driving around the yard and pick up somewhat of a decent speed. Nothing clunks that worries me. Here's a couple bumps. Wow, it actually takes him very well. I mean, it's a low mile vehicle. Not very much was done with, but make a quick right over here. We'll take it down. Again, we're on a gravel road here, nothing crazy. We'll just drive it to the very end. We're at like 20 kilometers, so not much. But I mean, for the most part, it holds up pretty great. It does really well. I mean, it's a Toyota, nothing really to complain about a Toyota, because it's a Toyota. That's what they're built for. They're built to last. They're built to be great cars, and they do what they need to do. And the reliability is there. So 1.3 engine that was probably produced in the States, if I'm not mistaken. So parts are readily available. Chances are the parts probably interchanged to a lot of different Toyotas at home. Don't quote me on that, but for the most part, it probably has the same thing like a Corolla or a Yaris or any other Toyota of the same time era that used probably the same suspension parts as this car did. I really genuinely love the ride. I think it's such a smooth ride for what it has to offer. You know what I mean? So don't slack. Make sure you reach out right away if you want it.